We're Sid and Macky. Since 2014, we've been racing mountain bikes professionally and traveling in our van. This week, Macky will be tackling the Pikes Peak Apex 4-day mountain bike stage race in Colorado Springs. After racing Breck Epic on a single speed, Macky feels like he is ready for just about anything. But will the Apex prove him wrong? Macky appears to be hurting a little bit.
That was really hard. Fortunately, there was no mud on the course today, so all I need to do is give a little wipe down and should be good to go for tomorrow. Oh, and I need to swap wheels. Swap wheels, that's important. I know that Sid said these tires were too light, but I don't think that it was actually the tires that caused the flat. It was definitely just poor line choice on my side. Fortunately, this plug worked really well. Plugged it, threw some air in, and it held no problem for the rest of the race. So really it was just poor line choice on my part. And that happens sometimes. But besides that, I was actually really happy with the tire choice. They rolled super well. I felt like I had plenty of traction. They cornered well, they descended well. So overall, quite pleased with my choice. So really what I was doing was just swapping tires for a Vittoria Barzo 235 trail casing on the front and a Mezcal 225 on the rear, also XC trail casing, but it was easier to just bring a spare set of wheels with the correct tires on them instead of having to actually swap tires. And then this way I also had a spare set of wheels. So as you guys can tell, this tire is not brand new, but it's actually in pretty good condition. And I wanted to use it because it's the only 225 I have, because they are out of stock currently. So tires are ready to go, bike is wiped down, lube my chain, and I'm ready to go. All right, day 2, heading to the race venue, which is a little bit of a drive. So it is about 7:04, a little later than I wanted to leave, but I think I should still be okay. I would say overall, I feel pretty good today. I'm sure that as soon as I start riding, my legs will be tired and sore, because that's always the way it happens, is you get up and you're like, oh, I actually feel okay. And then you start riding and you're like, oh, right, I raced yesterday. But fortunately, it was a fairly short race, even if it was pretty hard, because lots of punchy stuff and time trial and short, so I was going even harder. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I was happy with yesterday, especially given that I got a flat, and the hope is to have an even better day today.
Day 2 starts in the town of Monument with a 2-mile neutral rollout on paved roads before turning to dirt and beginning a 9-mile, 2,000-foot gravel road climb up to 9,000 feet of elevation. At the top, the course turns off onto single track and does a loop in Lovell Gulch before getting back on the road for 3 miles of rolling gravel along the ridge. Then it descends 1,500 feet on balanced rock road, thus named for the huge rocks that line the road, before turning onto single track again for technical descent, a technical climb, and a final technical descent to the finish.
Finishing 12th in the time trial yesterday, Macky Franklin. And we are away.
That was a loud whistle. Right turn!
Yeah, back to XC mode, huh?
You know?
You're crushing it.
I wanted to see what being in shape again felt like.
How's it feel?
Oh man, so fun.
You got gears today, right?
Oh yeah. Oh baby, I'm suffering today.
took almost an hour, but my legs are starting to feel a little bit better, which goes back to my old philosophy of, in stage racing, if you don't like how you're feeling, just wait a little while. It'll probably change. So while we have been descending overall, it's been punctuated by climbs and has been more flat than downhill. So I'm still waiting for the descent. guys. Ah, single track, hooray. All right, let's catch some people, Macky. Yeah. Thanks, man. Well, things definitely got exciting here at the end. Which I am digging. Let's see if we can catch some more people.
Well, that was really hard. I would say I identified some weaknesses, personal weaknesses that I need to work on. Specifically, climbing fairly flat dirt roads that go on forever. Definitely a weakness. I'd hoped, based on Breck Epic, that like I'd feel good, be able to do these climbs. But I think the difference is Breck Epic, the climbs tended to be steeper and long still, but not as long. So they were steeper, so it'd be like you'd climb 1,000 feet and then you'd descend some and then you'd climb another couple thousand feet, and But this one, I think we basically just climbed like 2,500 feet out the get-go at 3 or 4% for most of it. And that's something that I obviously need to work on. It was just one of those days where I spent the whole time being like, maybe my brake is rubbing, or maybe my cranks aren't spinning freely, or maybe anything, because my legs just were not feeling it. And none of those things were true. It was 100% me and my legs. And I had to kind of remind myself, if you don't feel good in a stage race, just wait, eat, drink, and wait, and see if you start feeling better. And I did start feeling somewhat better, but I never kind of felt good. So I'm hoping that that's just, day 2 stage racing, the way it goes sometimes, and that with good recovery, nap, etc. today, I can then feel good tomorrow. Once we kind of got to the top, there was still plenty of climbing left, but I was able to start catching people just by kind of being consistent, using the descents as much as possible. They were very short descents. The last descent was just super rocky and super technical and kept having these like punchy little uphills. It was brutal, but it was a lot of fun. And that's, I think, the type of trail that suits my skill set better. So I was able to catch a number of people on that, which was great. I actually don't know how I have done yet. Sid texted and said, good job. But man, I'd be kind of surprised if I think I'm probably top 20, but I'd be kind of surprised if I was top 15. But I don't know.
How you feeling?
Better now.
Sandwich, got some dots, cracked pretzels.
Crack pretzels, indeed.
Zoom in on Macky. How you doing? You're awake now?
Bed monster got me, but I fought him off.
Can you scoot like just to the edge?
Yes.
Because otherwise you don't both. There
Like
we go.
this.
Now you both fit in frame.
I was saying earlier that I identified a weakness today, which is long 3 to 5% gravel road climbs.
Specifically 3 to 5%. That is very specific.
When it gets to like 8%, I think I do better.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because that's what I rode more of this summer. Rode a lot of those at Breck, rode a lot of those preparing for Breck. So I was asking Mike what I could do about that.
Between now and tomorrow, or like longer term?
No, long term. I tried to strengthen my weaknesses so that they are no longer weaknesses.
Well, the thing we can do to improve that is to do more climbs like that. So if you guys are in Taos, doing the climb up to Taos Ski Valley at, like a 75 to 85% of threshold intensity. So he's not making it his fastest climbs up, but he's making that climb longer. So that's his weakness, is those climbs. If we do too much work on the weaknesses, we might start to take away from some of his strengths. So the trick is to balance that out. With the goals that he's telling me about for next year, I'm like, well, let's picture this weekend as like a base building weekend for those goals for next year. Because wow, there's some really cool stuff in Pikes Peak Apex. There's a whole lot of 3 to 5% gravel road climbs.
And it's a little too late to address that.
It's too late to address that. Had we known beforehand, I would have had to do or longer beforehand.
I might have told Mike a week before that I was racing.
Yeah. Maybe we would have gone and done a couple of those types of workouts on the Ski Valley Road. But honestly, we didn't have a lot of time between recovering from Breck Epic and doing this race with the other things you guys had going on.
I looked at results and I was 12th, which I'm actually really happy about because I figured I was like, no way was I top 15.
You were like 19th into the last like 4 miles.
Yeah, basically.
Which were the downhill part.
Yeah, I made up some time on people on the end there. So that was good.
If we don't get outside our comfort zone, we won't know what our weaknesses are. We'll only know what our strengths are. And that's kind of like telling yourself a little lie. Like, I'm just good at this stuff, right? There's nothing I'm bad at because I won't do the stuff I'm bad at. It's really good to see Macky outside his comfort zone, but then be able to use his strengths to go from 19th to 12th. Yeah, you were 19th at the top, but the finish line wasn't at the top.